Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Watches and Style channel. This is Young Brando, and today we are going to talk about the Michael Schumacher collection that was just sold on public auction at Christie's Geneva. It gives me a great pleasure to recap the results of this auction because I was one of the first creators, if not the first creator, who had the privilege of sharing hands-on footage of these watches online. So let's take a look, because this is as sad as it is in terms of the undercurrent of Schumacher's current medical condition. This is also the story of a great friendship between the record-breaking racing driver Michael Schumacher with his 7 World Drivers' Championships and his team principal at Ferrari, Jean Todt. Christie's previously sold Jean Todt's collection in the fall of 2022, and with great success, I might add. And that collection included a number of personal and personalized gifts from Schumacher to Todt, which is a theme that we will follow in the pieces from this recent auction, with pieces that were gifted by Jean Todt to Michael Schumacher. The sale was actually conducted on May 14, and some of the perceptive members of the audience, I'm sure, realize that the auction was originally advertised on May 13, and I covered here on Friday the only watch auction which kicked off the luxury sale season in Geneva for Christie's. And there were certain glitches. What was first announced as a cyber attack on Christie's website, and which was then revealed and covered as a ransomware attack on Christie's whole online system by New York Times, for example. And it's something I'm sure that we will talk about later and in some detail, but it certainly affected the results in the Only Watch auction. And it's understood, again, this is something that the New York Times article covers, to have also affected even the arts market. So this is something we have to keep in mind while looking at the auction's results right now. Now, the first watch that I would like to cover, and it is possibly my favorite, is this one-of-a-kind Audemars Piguet Royal Oak chronograph in 18-karat white gold. And it is, again, a significant token of the friendship between Jean Todt and Michael Schumacher, and an example of their shared passion for wristwatches, and specifically the maker from Le Reverso. This was a Christmas gift for 2003 from Jean Todt to Schumacher, and it has a Grand Tapisserie dial with each of the chronograph registers uniquely representing an aspect of Michael Schumacher's storied career up until the end of that year. So you have his racing helmet at 9 o'clock with the signature prancing horse of Ferrari adorning the running seconds register at 6 o'clock. And then at 3 o'clock, you have within the 30-minute totalizer 6 stars that surround the world champions, racing number one for each one of his titles until then. And the case back is really beautifully engraved with a personal message from Jean Todt, commemorating also the occasion, which is Christmas 2003. This particular piece was lot 130 at the Christie's Rare Watches auction, and it hammered for 415,800 in Swiss francs. Then we have the complete set of the F. Bergeron ruthenium collection, which is again a brand that both Schumacher and Jean Todt really hold near and dear. In fact, Jean Todt's collection had also a similar complete collection that was a personal gift from Schumacher to Jean Todt. This is Michael Schumacher's own pieces that belong to the limited run of 1909. And they're all numbered in this case 92, which I believe is in fact a reference of to the year of Schumi's first Grand Prix triumph in 1992 at the Belgian GP. Incidentally, in 2004, that Grand Prix was when he clinched his seventh World Drivers' Championship title as well. Now, the interesting thing that happened with this collection, and you're looking right now at the Octa Jour Nuit, which was actually unique to the ruthenium collection. All these pieces sold to the same buyer. I think that buyer also happened to get the unique presentation box, the personalized presentation box for the 5-piece set as well. These are 5 watches. You're looking now at the Octa Calendrier, which is Jean's take at the annual calendar complication with a retrograde date indicator. The ruthenium collection marked the transition from brass movements to movements that were rendered largely in 18-karat pink gold, which is the case now with the F. Bergeron collection. And they also inaugurated the enlarged 40mm cases, all in platinum with ruthenium-plated brass movements and ruthenium-coated gold dials. Here's the Octa chronograph from the same 5-piece set. Which is kind of a steampunk vibe. A self-winding chronograph with the flyback option, with the flyback function, which gave way quite early on in the F. Bergeron catalog to the centigraph. So particularly unique and exciting. The chronomètre résonance from the same collection. Perhaps one of the signature pieces by F. Bergeron today, one of the most recognizable. rendering the resonance concept in the form of a wristwatch, something that was, of course, brought into the world of horology by Abraham Louis Breguet. And Breguet, of course, is a mentor beyond time for F.P. Jones, someone whom François-Paul Jones considers as a storied predecessor. Of course, Breguet made pendulum clocks and 65-millimeter diameter pocket watches for Jean to have first introduced this in a 38-millimeter wristwatch form. And 40-millimeter wristwatch form, as you can see here, was quite a feat. And of course, the collection was rounded off by the tourbillon souverain with the remontoir d'égalité. Again, perhaps one of the definitive and impressive models that distinguish F.P. Jones' watchmaking, both in its past as an independent maker, but also in the present. This entire collection, as I mentioned, was acquired by the same buyer. For a total of 1.7 million Swiss francs, which is in the region of 1.8 million in US dollars. Now, the collection also included this classic Rolex Cosmograph Daytona with the exotic Paul Newman dial, a reference 6262 in stainless steel. And for me, you know, the experience of handling this watch was also quite striking because it was obvious that Schumi wore this watch to bits. You know, you can tell it from the later bracelet, which is clearly a later replacement, and from the fact that the case back is virtually mirror polished by wear, as you can see it. And this was lot 137, and it hammered for 315,000 in Swiss francs. Now, the sale also included a gold Rolex Cosmograph Daytona. In fact, a piece that was rendered in 14-karat gold, which was particularly targeted at the American market at the time because of the tariffs that imposed even heavier taxes, perhaps unconscionable taxes on 18-karat gold. So that's why 14-karat gold examples of Rolex pieces were targeted at the time to the American markets. This piece actually didn't come directly from Schumacher's collection. It was lot 138, And it was a piece that was previously gifted to Michael Schumacher's early mentor and manager, Willy Weber. And this piece was actually passed at lot 130. The pre-auction estimate was set within the range between 250,000 to 500,000, quarter to $500,000 in Swiss francs. But the piece was passed at 220,000 Swiss francs. I believe this has a couple of reasons. First of all, this is 6241, so should have had the bakelite bezel insert. It was replaced with a tachymeter bezel in matching yellow gold. And it was also supplied with this version of the so-called no-step Paul Newman dial, which is, let's just say, of suspicious provenance, right? Those no-step Paul Newman dials, in fact, were identified by many experts to have been fake. So I think a number of things that situate this lot, that contextualize this lot, perhaps didn't make it as attractive as some of the other pieces that were sold on this auction. And I think ultimately it perhaps will remain as an asterisk in what was otherwise largely a very successful sale for Christie's Geneva, for the Rare Watches auction, which included this beautiful white gold Audemars Piguet Royal Oak chronograph, a gift for Schumacher from Jean Todt, commemorating 6 of his 7 championships, because it was a gift for the Christmas of 2003. Which included the entire set of the ruthenium collection. Incidentally, according to François-Paul Jean himself, probably less than 10 collectors actually have all the 5 pieces from this collection. So the buyer who got the whole set here should consider themselves to be quite fortunate. The stainless steel Rolex Cosmograph Daytona with the exotic Paul Newman dial, the black Paul Newman exotic. And I have saved perhaps the best for last, the pièce de résistance. This was Michael Schumacher's personal FP Jaune Vagabondage, which was crafted in platinum. Once again, a personal gift from Jean Todt to celebrate Schumi's 7th world title engraved thus on the bridge of the movement, Christmas 2004, Jean Todt for my friend Michael Schumacher. And it has this unique configuration on the dial with a Ferrari red R-track, which is ennobled by the prancing horse logo, Schumacher's racing helmet, as well as a crest for each one of his world titles. Vagabondage is a pretty unique series for François-Paul Jean. It has a couple of different points of origin, all converge around year 2004. Apparently, the famous auctioneer Osvaldo Patrizzi at that point approached François-Paul Jean for a watch that they can sell for charity to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the auction house Antiquorum. And since that approach happened perhaps 6 months before the actual auction, of course, François-Paul Jean didn't really have the opportunity to design something from scratch. So he rummaged through drawers at his atelier and pulled out this prototype that he had to shelve early on in his career. Some of you would know that Jean, both by himself and in collaboration, did a lot of work for prestige makers, including Cartier, which, of course, the flat tortue shape of this case betrays. And apparently Vagabondage in the first place was a watch that François-Paul Jean designed for the Collection Privée Cartier Paris, but since Cartier dropped the project, he could not actually make it. Thankfully, Patrizzi approached him, which meant that he made 3 examples in each shade of gold at that time, which means that this personal watch for Michael Schumacher in platinum is possibly the first, if not one of the first, pieces rendered in platinum. So a very interesting story that has so many moving pieces: a failed Cartier project, a charity auction which realized the watch, the collectors then asking François-Paul Jean to produce similar pieces for them, which brings this jump hour piece to life. Something that appropriates the mechanism that François-Paul Jean used in a one-of-a-kind piece earlier, the so-called Carpe Diem. And ultimately, it ends up as this one-of-a-kind piece that celebrates the 7 championships of the legendary Michael Schumacher. This was actually sold for an amount that was 1.5 million, basically in Swiss francs, 1,497,000 in Swiss francs. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, if you have learned something from it, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm here with watch content almost every day. And let me know what you think of these watches, about everything that surrounded the Christie's luxury sales in Geneva this past weekend and earlier this week. And I will see you in the next one. Please stay safe, stay healthy, wear and enjoy your watches until then. Bye.